Hello, everyone. It is Friday, June the 15th, and I want to tell you something today that I hope you will hear and maybe even do something about. By now, most of you, and by the way, forgive the way I sound, I have caught a bug, so it's nothing serious, just a bug, but I sound sort of funky. By now, all of you have seen or heard about the IG report, the great IG report. Now, I had told before it ever came out that the word I had received was that there was a good chance there was going to be a cover-up of sorts. I've always tried to point out that the Inspector General has been for years a part of the clique with Mueller, Comey, and the guys, and Hillary, all of them. So there wouldn't be much reason to believe it would be anything other than a cover-up. Well, guess what? It is. But it is in a slippery way. You have by now heard many people tell you that they go out of their way to let you know that the Inspector General has found no political bias in his findings. Nothing. No political bias. It was best said, I believe, by Rush Limbaugh today or whenever, that that's not true. When you open it up from the first word to the last, paraphrasing, of course, it's nothing but bias. So how did they pull it off? How did they do it? Well, the way they did it was leaving out a few words. What the IG report says, when it comes to some of the text that are extremely revealing, some of the witnesses' statements that are extremely shocking, they disclaim it by saying this: they have no documented evidence or witness testimonies proving political bias. Think about that. They're saying, since we don't have any documents with evidence proving political bias, or somebody actually saying it in one of their testimonies, since they didn't say it, then obviously there was none. It's a trick used in politics all the time. Most of the time, y'all have heard this trick used when a politician gets caught, pardon me, saying something, and he'll say, they took that comment out of context. Well, this is a case of that. Maybe the statement out of context does not actually mention this was done for political purposes to hurt Trump and help Hillary. But if you look at it in context, that's what all this is. That's what all of it is. So somehow, all of you that hear me today, I ask you, when people talk about the IG report, because it seems to be being discussed by people, in the mainstream, normal everyday people that typically do not pay a lot of attention to politics, they're being fed a diet to them, since they're not going to dig into the report, they're not going to read the report. Most likely the only information they're getting about the report comes from the mainstream media, which is biased politically. They're never going to be able to separate out that these people are all saying it's not biased, politically biased. please explain to them, if you don't mind. Well, wait a minute. What he says when these statements occur and when these testimonies occur, when he's covering them, he always adds something that says, we have not got documented evidence where somebody has sworn that they did this for political bias reasons, or in their testimonies, they did not give their testimony and say the words, I did it for political bias. But folks, if you look at the purpose of the texts that are in the report, if you look at what's said in the report, they very tactfully do it without actually saying this is done to hurt Donald Trump. This was done to help Hillary Rodham Clinton beat Donald Trump. But there's no way that you can look at what these people say. There's no way that you can take the report and the summary overall and say that this thing was not politically biased. You just can't. You just cannot. But it will be successful with the public if we don't tell the rest of the story. So can you do that for our country, please? I was asked by a reasonably high person politically, Larry, do you have any idea or any justification that you can think of as to why that character named Strzok has not been fired? Folks, I got no idea why that man is still working for the FBI. Not to mention the fact that the job he was demoted to, which is putting him over human resources, of all the people that this IG report, other than James Comey, that it knocks the most, is him, Strzok. What you may not understand, though, is by him getting demoted to the human resources part of the FBI, he's in the best position to handle all of the documentation in that place, all of it. So what better person to put there if you intended, and I'm saying if someone intended to get rid of incriminating memos, things that might be laying around that could cause trouble, that might actually say they were politically biased, what better way to get rid of them than having the person in human resources that's in a position to do just that? I don't know why he is still there. I can't even imagine what somebody's going to tell me is the reason he's still there. It cannot be an oversight, a managerial oversight. I hope you would agree. He should be gone. Now, it's kind of, now not that big a deal if they fire him today. They should have fired him back when all of this was occurring. There's one other thing in this report. Actually, there's two other things that I find to be significant, that the masses, the people of America, deserve to know, should know, but will not. And that is that, number one, did y'all know there were 7 Strzok's? Not him. There were 6 more like him. Yes, 6 more people high up on the ladder with the FBI that were participating just as aggressively as he was to go against Donald Trump when he was running, to go against Donald Trump when he had won but not yet taken office, that continually, still through this day, 7 total, counting Strzok, 7. And those are the ones we know about, folks. So if there's 7, I will bet you there's probably 20 more, but we don't know their names. And then the one thing that's in this report that should be the thing everybody's talking about, but of course it's not, that is Strzok himself, who was over the part of the FBI dealing with oh, good Lord, I don't even know what you call it. I'm so upset with all of it. The intrigue, espionage, etc. He was over from 2016 to 2017. He was the one that actually opened the investigation and the whole story of Trump and Russia. But in this IG report, they found a text. They found a text. And in this text, he says, there's no there in the investigation into Trump and Russia. No there. And then he asked to be removed from that assignment and was. Now, his little text right there, his statement right there, should by all measure of fairness, since he's the one that brought it all out in the beginning, started all of this conspiracy, but it's not the conspiracy of Trump conspiring with Russia to overthrow Hillary's campaign and to meddle with our election. It wasn't that conspiracy. It was the conspiracy of the FBI, Department of Justice, CIA, and Lord knows what other alphabet government name, the conspiracy to defeat Donald Trump, then to get him out after he won, and then to get rid of him once he took office. That's the conspiracy. But because of that text, Robert Mueller's investigation should be shut down now. Robert Mueller's investigation has succeeded in some 15, 18 months, however long it's been going. It has succeeded in indicting people that knew Trump, may even have had some esoterical position with the campaign, or like what's his name, could have been a campaign manager for a period. But they didn't get any of them for that, except Kelly. Didn't mean Kelly. Forgive me. I said I was calling it Kelly and it was Flynn. By the way, in the report you will see where there is comment from the people that actually did the interview saying he didn't lie. But they've gotten everybody else for stuff that you can't imagine. Not having to do with Russia, not having to do with collusion on Trump and the Russians' part to mess with our campaign, our election process. So folks, take these things and think about them, and then do your country a favor. When your friends are around the water cooler, getting coffee at the office or whatever, and they're talking about it, would you please bring these things up, please? Because it's significant. And it's the only way those people around the water cooler or the coffee pot are ever going to get a chance to understand that IG report. So, folks, I need you to go to nicholslive.com. nicholslive.com. When you're there, you will hear this recording, of course, but you'll also get a number. We're 3 nights a week. We have a conference call that you're invited to. A conference call that you can ask questions. I can't say I'm there for all of them, but I'm there for most, I hope. So please go and please come. We've got to have an army of people. Soon, we're going to have an army of people, because I promise you, folks, if we don't get active between now and the election in November, if the Democrats win the majority of the House, they will live up to their pledge and impeach President Trump. And that will be the end of our country. So go to nicholslive.com, nicholslive.com, and get the number, get the time, and if you can, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, join us of an evening for a conference call. With that, I'll leave you today. Have a good day.